On this episode of Mythbusters, Adam and Jamie take a pot shot at one of the craziest myths around.
That was the scariest thing I've ever done on this show.
Is the American border being breached by daredevil slingshotters?
You're out! You're out!
And can the team bust the world record for hurling a human projectile?
3, 2, 1.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
What the hell is a border slingshot?
Well, we have a new myth involving people that are wanting to illegally enter the country, and they've apparently developed a gigantic slingshot capable of launching them 200 yards over the top of a fence, and supposedly it's accurate enough to land them in a mattress on the other side.
Well, I've heard they're not only doing this with individuals, but they're offering a family package where they can shoot up to 4 people over that fence and onto that tiny little mattress.
Well, here's a couple who will probably get a big bang out of their work.
The myth has its roots in the long and scary history of human cannonballs.
They go hurtling with terrific speed through the open space.
Ever since the 1870s, people have been firing themselves on ballistic trajectories. But could you really cross the border like this?
So what is our plan?
Well, the first thing we have to do, I guess, is replicate a big slingshot. And it's going to have to be something that is capable of launching, say, a 185-pound person 200 yards. And that's a big-ass slingshot.
Yeah, at least one person. Well, you know, in order so that we don't build something massive and get it wrong, I really think we should start with some small-scale testing of all the various materials we could use specific lengths of that, shoot different objects of different weights, and come up with, hopefully, an equation that'll tell us what's the best thing to use for a full-size slingshot.
Well, you know, with a big build like this, it's always best to start with a small scale. It ought to tell us something.
So, armed with a small is beautiful philosophy, Adam and Jamie ease into this myth.
Targets. More targets.
With a store-bought slingshot challenge.
Well, I know how much you love competition. Shall we do a little slingshot challenge? See if I can hit the blue jays out of the apple trees like you did back in the 20s?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Let's say 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points.
Okay.
You feeling lucky, buddy?
Nope.
You feeling lucky?
They'll calculate velocity using the high-speed camera. These slingshots aren't toys, so don't try this at home.
These are like bullets. They will hurt.
They will kill.
Well, it'll hurt to dig them out of your leg. That was pretty good. I wasn't even aiming for bullseye. 0 points for Mr. Heineman.
I had 2 bullseyes in a row earlier.
I had 2 bullseyes in a row earlier.
4.
4-pointer. Hey, 5-pointer. In your face, man.
Adam's not used to winning Mythbusters competitions. But for once, he's right on target.
Nope, not even close.
Woo! Another pointless competition brought to you by Mythbusters.
That looked like a lot of fun, but how about the science? Their steel shot reached speeds of up to 85 miles per hour. At competition level, slingshots can achieve twice that, so there's plenty of room for improvement.
We now want to look at a whole variety of different materials, elastics, shock cords, bungee cords, rubbers, etc., and see if one of those gives a better velocity or a better contraction, and we'll learn a lot more about what actually gives us the ideal slingshot.
They're scaling things up a notch by turning the scissor lift into a medium-range slingshot.
It's important for this thing to be fairly rigid because we're going to be looking very closely at the speeds and dynamics of what are going on. If the platform moves, that's a variable that will give us, false results.
Adam decides to make the test missile weigh exactly 1 kilo, metric being the international scientific unit of measurement.
That hole took about 50 grams out of it, so 2 more holes ought to do just the ticket.
A 1 kilo weight will make it easier to analyze their results when they carry out their test firings.
Hey! How about that? Exactly 1 kilo.
With an array of test firings planned, Adam paints the projectile to guard against lead poisoning, because that's bad.
Fabric, velvet stripes, white, yellow, orange. Do you see leather?
He's looking for material to make a firing pouch. One perfectly good pair of gloves. No Jamie in sight? Sorted. A quick snip, a couple of stitches, a pair of grommets, and Jamie's none the wiser.
It looks like it shouldn't grab a hold of it.
Yeah.
A delivery to M5 turns out to be a box full of bungee.
This is the commercial stuff.
Right.
And that's the military stuff. For the same size, this has my money.
With a whole day of testing ahead, Adam's unhappy with the rig.
You can do all the firing now. That scares the out of me.
Okay.
I mean, you're running it over a hard point. I mean, you could humor me and soften that with the angle grinder and stuff like that, but running it through such a hard point makes me terrified.
I'm happy to soften that.
Jamie softens the edges and strengthens the yoke by welding on a pair of support struts. And before the day is done, the rig's done too.
Dude.
So it's out to M5's lot to see if the scissor lift slingshot will cut the mustard.
Well, we're just sort of dialing our system in right now. We've got the scissor lift set up to be the yoke of our slingshot. We've got some military-grade bungee here and our 1 kilo ball. And I hope we don't hit that blue van all the way at the end of the parking lot. I suspect we'll hit somewhere about halfway between here and there.
Before the Mythbusters work their way up to a human-sized slingshot, they're going to carry out extensive testing on small projectiles using 5 different types of rubber.
When Jamie heads out into the jungle, this is often all he wears.
First up, a 1 meter length of military bungee and a 1 kilo projectile. The ruler is at 45 degrees to the scissor lift for the best firing angle.
Can I do the first one?
Sure.
Mark this off at the maximum stretch.
Jamie marks the release point so that when they scale up to full size, they'll know how much pullback space they'll need.
And 3, 2, 1. Jamie's standing exactly where it landed.
You can see it hit right here.
Test number 1. Military bungee propelled our 1 kilogram weight about 67 feet. So the next one up is the stranded shock cord. This stuff is apparently super expensive.
First, they measure the tension and pullback distance.
3, 2, 1.
43 feet.
That's a full 24 feet less than the military bungee. Next up, solid shock cord.
In 3, 2, 1.
38.5.
I suspect we started with the best.
I'm curious to see what the surgical rubber does because I have a suspicion that might be the best, but I don't really know. Not having handled military-grade bungee cord before.
Not in a long time. Not since Da Nang, right?
Last, but if Jamie's right, not least, 1/4-inch surgical tubing. It's more elastic than the other material, so they have to raise the scissor lift to get a 45-degree angle.
You want to just hold it and I'll fire it and we'll see where it lands?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, where's the ball?
The ball's up there, of course. Where else would it be?
The pullback is 14 feet, double the distance of the other contenders. The tension measures 37 pounds.
And 3, 2, 1.
Where did that go?
Someplace in the grass.
Really? I didn't think that was going to work that well.
The high-speed footage records a velocity of almost 100 feet per second.